Hello everyone and welcome back to Football Manager 2019 and the second season of our Journeyman series with Concord Rangers. We've had a huge summer of upheaval since last time around, where we finished in mid-table and weren't quite able to make that late surge to the playoffs. After coming in with them in the relegation zone, we did pick them up a long way. It gave us good job security, also led to a much bigger contract. And we also got a slightly bigger wage budget. So what I've tried to do over the summer is go through the team, remove a lot of dead weight and people who are getting wages that maybe shouldn't have. I've tried to retain our best players and tried to bring in a younger batch of players who have a bit of room to develop, and that way if we don't get a good promotion this season, we're further along the line next season and the season after that, because we will get stronger every year as these young players get better and better. That's my theory, at least. It does mean pain in the short term potentially for some long-term payoff, but if we have a look at the transfers that have happened since last season, you can see that actually not too many players have gone out on a free. Quite a few of them have been released though. So Matt Neri has gone to Salisbury. Nathan Linton, pretty much the only player I signed last season, has gone to Kingstonian. Adam Topley didn't play a lot, gone to Enfield Town. And Kojo Watway has gone to St Albans. He was a player who made a late impact. I did try to keep him, but he's on £275 a week, and I felt like we could get some better players in. Now we've got a huge roster of players who have come in this season, and it's going to be difficult for me to pick out the individual ones, but if we go instead to have a look at the squad list, you'll get a better idea of the team shape here. So both goalkeepers that were here last season have gone now, I think. So Ryan Schmid may have been here last year, and indeed he was. He played one game last season. He's got a little bit of potential. He's a backup goalkeeper. The number one keeper this season, replacing Poke, will be Charlie Busby. You can see he's got 11 for a few key areas. He looks like a decent player. He's 19. He's got a lot of potential to grow. We brought him in on a free from Barnet, and I'm hoping that the drop down a couple of leagues will help him and allow him to develop. He's also not getting paid, which is a big bonus for us. Now, we do have a slight worry that some of these players might be poached from other teams if they start doing well. We're going to have to be very conscious of that. Then we've got Matthew Young at right back. He's a player we brought in from Chelmsford. He did play a few times for Chelmsford, but not that much. He is 25 years old, a little bit more experienced, but he's a full-back. He can play in that position, and I'm hoping he can do a good job for us. We've then got Jamie Bradley Green, who's one of the better players that we've brought in. He has been signed from Southampton. We had to fight off a couple of clubs for him, so he's on a decent wage, but I think he's going to be a very good player. He's got everything that you could want, really. Mental's not the strongest, but everything else looks pretty good, and I think that he'll be a good signing for us, especially as he can cover a couple of positions that we like to play in defence. Aaron Pollock, another player who has been around since last year. He played 8 times last season. I was hoping to play him a bit more, but then he kicked off when I signed Bradley Green, so I'm not too happy about that. Michael Clark is another player who I think was around last season. He played quite a lot for us. He's got potential to grow. I had to give him a bit of a pay bump to keep him as other teams came in, but I'm happy that we've kept him. He was on a 2-year contract before, so he should be sticking around for a little while. Dion Molyneux was also around last time. You can see he didn't play very much. Again, another player I'm hoping to give a bit more of a run out. Now, Nathan Mavilla I'm quite excited about. He's a left back, but a full back in his role, which does fit our system. A few things on the decline here, but he's got good physical stats on him, and I think that he's got quite a bit of room to develop, even though he's 23 years old. He was playing at Dulwich Hamlet in the same league last season. Not the best stats, but I think we can get more out of him than they did. And he can also play on both sides of defence. Tyrone Sterling, we somehow managed to keep. He got another little wage bump, I think, but he was one of our best players last season, so I thought he'd be worth the investment to keep around. And then you've got James O'Halloran, who can also play at left back, in from AFC Wimbledon. He's not played a professional game in his career, but he will be a good rotation if I need to put Tyrone Sterling into central defence, which is a position that he can play. Now midfield, I've brought a few players in. There's Jay Reason, who's been brought in because he can cover roles within our tactic, rather than because he's a great player. Now he did play quite a bit in the National League not too long ago, and I'm hoping that he can be a bit of a rotation player for us and cover some tactical positions. Michael Onavigwan, another player who has come in, he can also play in a couple of roles that we're looking to cover in the midfield. The roles we use in a tactic, it's not easy to get players who can fill them. So I've gone for the roles rather than the player. But we do still have some good players like Jake Taylor here. He's a decent player, brought in from Nottingham Forest in the Championship. He's on a wage, so he needs to make up for that cash, really, and put in some good performances. Lean Minshall has been retained from last season. He's on £500 a week. I'm hoping he can justify that. That's a huge outlay. Jack Newell brought in on loan, another good potential player, but hopefully he can start to fulfill that on loan from Northampton. Not paying anything for him. Same for James Colando, who can also play in central midfield. So you can see we've really gone for a lot of players here, and because they're not on contracts, I can release them if they don't get into the team or don't perform particularly well. Now Danny Green is an interesting one. We have managed to bring him in. He was with us last season, played 39 times, did reasonably well. We've managed to keep him in the club when his contract was about to expire. In fact, I think his contract did expire, and I then got him for no wage whatsoever. Billy Knott, though, the big marquee signing, and I've got his wages down from about 800 quid to 450 and kept him at the club, which I think is a remarkable bit of business. He was essential to our plans and our performances last season, so we have managed to keep our best player. That's the thing I'm most happy about. Chris Regis in here, another decent player, 22 years old, can play a lot of roles. Another thing that attracted me to him, even though he doesn't have the best current ability. He was playing for Wealdstone last season in the same league, so I'm hoping he'll do a decent job for us. Ramon Rose I signed because he's an inside forward. He's not very good, but he can do the role, and he's a bit of cover on that left wing when Luke Carey, who we've managed to retain on loan for another season, does get injured. So he was another of our brilliant players who I've managed to get back on loan for no wage contribution. Shokat Dahir, another player with good potential, decent stats as well, especially his physicals. And you can see that he came from Fulham, but I'm not sure he's going to be a great player for us. We've still got Jack Midson in the team, and I've tried to increase strength in the striking positions. We'll come to them in a minute. We've got Morgan Roberts in on loan as well, another player. He plays as a winger rather than an inside forward, but he looked pretty decent. I thought I'd bring him in and give him a chance. So we've got Noel Burdett up front, a player with some potential. Only a 7 for finishing, but good physicals. He'll be that kind of impact sub that I'll be looking to use if we're struggling. He was playing for Kettering, so he's come up a league here. He had been in the Vanarama North before, but he's been a bit in the kind of lower leagues than ours before now. And then we've got Harry Honesty of #United in the team. He's got a 13 for finishing and a 15 for acceleration, 15 for pace. How could you not sign that player? He also plays as an advanced forward, which is what we're looking to use this season. He was at St Albans last year, 12, no goals. I'm hoping we could get more out of Harry Honesty than they did. And then there's Erin Kenally, who is in. He's a poacher target man rather than what we really want, but he has got a 10 for finishing, and so I thought get him in the team on the bench. He's not costing us anything. You can see that the wages are pretty much non-existent, just a few players in on a wage, and they're almost all proven players that I'm hoping we can get the most out of. I'm a little bit annoyed about this Aaron Pollock situation, but I'm hoping we can do a good job with these players. They all look pretty good. So this season, the goal obviously is to try and inch toward the playoffs. We did have a good pre-season. We won every game, a lot of goals going in from Harry Honesty as well, and a 0-0 draw with Barnet to finish it off, which I was happy with. We're starting off today with a game against Enfield Town, then we'll push through quite a few games, maybe going up to kind of Torquay, Woking, Welling. We'll see kind of where the league is falling out at that point. A quick check on the finances. You can see they've got much worse in pre-season. That signing bonuses and all the rest of it. We're now projected to hit a £1.3 million deficit by May 22, so we need to get some cash in. We need to get promoted. We need a good league, a good cup run. And we need a lot of things, really, if we're going to make it there, because we have brought a lot of players in, and this gamble needs to pay off. So Enfield Town, the team we're taking on today, we really want to hit this one with a win. We are favourites. I think we were predicted to finish in 5th place, if I remember correctly. So the bookies really happy with the transfers we've made. You can see today we're giving Harry Honesty his debut up top. We've then got Carey and Green, the old wingers, on the sides. Not still in the team. Newell has come in to play in that central midfield attacking role, which is a slight change on what we had before. Minshaw is playing deep line playmaker with Sterling, Molyneux, Clark and Young in defence, and Busby in goal for this one. So it's going to be an interesting game. Green not at full match sharpness. Neither is most of the bench. We didn't do a great job of rotating in pre-season. But hopefully we can put in a good performance today and get that win that we need to start off the season in style. Harry Honesty kicks the game off to Minshaw. Now Sterling out on the left back position. Plays it up towards Harry Honesty. I'd be surprised if he managed to get that ball there. I'm really hoping Harry Honesty can have a great season. Here's Green with a free kick pushed out wide. Knott's gone down in the penalty area. I don't know what happened there, why the defender would do that. But we've got a chance from the penalty spot. Stepping up, it's Green to take, and Green does find the bottom right hand corner to give us a lead, and we've started the season off absolutely brilliantly there. Green just pushing it, not a brilliant penalty, not quite into the side netting, but into the bottom corner, and we do have a gifted lead against Enfield Town. I don't know why they gave that penalty away when the ball was flying out for a goal kick, but there you go. Here's Topley, our former player. Plays it out to Hunt. Cuts in from the right hand side. Prout. Back out to Doherty, the fullback. Now Wilson. They're playing a nice possession game here before punting the ball down the field. And it looks like Murray's going to get there. Missed tackle in central defence. And money in there. Saved by Busby. A first good intervention from him in defence. Shows that we've got perhaps a better keeper this season. Although Pope did make quite a few saves like that last season. Oh, and the ball's been punted in behind for Campbell here. A lucky break, but again, Busby with a very good save there, keeping our clean sheet for now. That's twice that Enfield really should have got back into the game, but we are still leading. And I am very happy about that. Giddens with the goal kick, sends it long. Header comes for Young, back to Worsford. He plays it on to Azzopardi. Now Deal. Over the top, Young with the header, comes to Newell, tries to head it away. Azzopardi to Topley. Back to Azzopardi again, switches it there with a diagonal. Sterling should control this one, he's our best player. If he's giving the ball away there, I would not be happy. Instead he has got possession, tries to punt it forward. Harry Honesty can't get to it, but it's fallen for Knott. We need to see him showing some leadership as our best player, and the ball's gone over the top. Honesty brings it down, he's in on goal, 1-on-1, and it's saved by Giddens. Harry Honesty not quite showing his high finishing skill for this league. We do have a corner though, not to take it. In towards the middle, Carey's there, it's off the post and saved by the keeper for another corner. Very close there to doubling our lead, Green. I'm hoping to see a little bit more from him this season. He was inconsistent last year, and Knott's corner this time cleared away by Topley. Now Minshaw's taking it out to the right flank. He does whip it in as a party away. Worsford to Campbell. And then the highlight comes to an end. But half an hour played. We're not quite hitting the possession we did last season. Enfield Town look like a decent side. They're certainly challenging us quite hard. But we are beginning to get the shot count up above where they are. But Lee Minshaw's picked up a knock here. He can come off at the half-time whistle. But 1-0 at half-time is not a bad place to be. I'd like for us to get a goal in open play, though, because that was our big issue last season, was not scoring from open play. I'm just going to kick the second half off and then make the change here, because I'm not really sure who to bring on for him. It's going to be Jake Taylor coming on in defensive midfield for us, because I don't think Minshaw's going to be able to carry on. His fitness was increasing. It got up to 81% when he came off. He maybe could have continued, but better to bring on some fresh legs anyway. Here's Prout with the ball in, and Clark with the header, but there's a foul in there. Lucas Moraine pushing another play there. means that his goal's been disallowed. They've had 2 dodgy decisions go against them here, Enfield. I think really they could well have a case for arguing the lead, if not at least being level with us. But we've got about 20 minutes left to play here. I'm just going to look at what options we've got. We could bring Jack Midson on. I don't really want to bring the defenders on at this point. So we'll leave it as it is for the last 15, but we will change to a defensive mentality. And I'm going to tell the team to concentrate, which does overwhelm the players, as you would imagine. I don't think they like it when somebody tells them to do that late on. Harry Honesty on a yellow card, just going to bring it off, run down the clock a little bit by bringing on my assistant manager to keep things tight. Only about 40 seconds left here as Midson picks up the ball, plays it out to Green. He could have played that one through the middle, but Midson maybe not quite got the legs on him. Here's Young into Newell. Not an awful lot of time left. Taylor from the centre of midfield. On to Knott. Comes back to Taylor, who's knackered after half a football match here. Knott runs it back. Molyneux with the ball over to Clark. Time just absolutely being run out by the team here with some very good possession. And the full-time whistle about to go any second now. I don't know why the ref is playing this one out. There it goes. We have started the season with a good 1-0 win here. We did dominate the stats towards the end of the game. Enfield Town had a couple of very good chances, but I'm going to say that was a good, solid win for us. First game of the season, get the points on the board. We start out well. Remember last season, I had to be brought in because we had such a terrible start. I think having a full season this year, there's no reason we wouldn't be in those playoff positions. So a good start to the new season. I don't anticipate any more transfers. If we look at the board screen here, we're pretty much at full wage budget. We could bring in one player with a bit of cash if an opportunity comes up, but I doubt we really want to take a risk on the balance that we've got available to us here and the way that this cash is going. So that is going to be it for today's episode. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe if you're enjoying this series. But until next time, see ya.